Virgo, when was the last time you allowed yourself to believe that something wonderful was about to happen? Not because you earned it, not because you planned it, not because you followed every rule and checked every box, but simply because the universe has been watching you love people who didn't know how to love you back, and now it is ready to hand you the one thing you stopped asking for. I want you to think about that question without answering it yet. Let it sit on your tongue like the first sip of honey tea on a morning when the light comes through the curtains at exactly the right angle, the angle that makes dust motes look like golden galaxies suspended in your kitchen air. You have been trained by disappointment to flinch when the phone rings after 10 at night, to assume the email with no subject line is bad news, to brace yourself before opening a text from a certain name because your nervous system has cataloged every possible way a heart can be disappointed. But today, beloved, today is not a day for bracing. Today is the day the envelope arrives with your name written in handwriting you don't recognize. And inside is not a bill, not a summons, not another request for your time and your patience and your endless capacity to fix what others broke. Inside is congratulations. Inside is the sound of champagne corks and the smell of peonies and the exact frequency of a voice that has been practicing how to say I love you in a way that doesn't leave room for doubt. Let me tell you what has been happening while you were busy reorganizing your closet for the third time this month, while you were color coding your calendar and telling yourself that control is the same thing as safety. There is someone, and no, this is not the beginning of a ghost story. This is the beginning of the love story you stopped believing could include you. They are real. They have a heartbeat that syncs to yours when you are not even in the same room, which sounds like poetry until you understand that science has already proven hearts can synchronize across distance when intention is present, and their intention toward you has been building like pressure behind a dam that was never meant to hold back something this powerful. They think about you in the morning before their coffee has finished brewing. They see your face in the steam of their shower. They have drafted messages to you that they never sent, not because they don't care, but because they care so much that every word felt insufficient, every emoji too casual, every attempt to bridge the distance between their courage and your availability felt like bringing a paper cup to a wildfire. But the cup is filling, the water is rising, and the announcement is coming. They have been watching you in a way that would make you blush if you knew the fullness of it. Not in a way that violates your privacy, but in a way that honors your mystery. They notice the way you tuck your hair behind your ear when you are concentrating. They have memorized the rhythm of your walk. They know your coffee order and your allergy to fake sincerity. They have been standing at the edge of their own courage, toes curled over the cliff, waiting for the wind to tell them it is safe to jump. And the wind has spoken. It spoke your name in a tone so clear that they could no longer pretend they didn't hear it. They are packing their fears into boxes labeled Old Self, and they are driving towards you with the windows down and a song on the radio that they will forever associate with this exact moment of surrender. You need to understand the mechanics of this, not because you need to control it, but because your Virgo mind will try to dismantle a miracle if it doesn't understand the engineering. So here is the blueprint. Around 3 weeks ago, perhaps 4, there was a shift in their energy field that you felt but couldn't name. Maybe you woke up at 4 in the morning for no reason, your chest warm, your hands tingling, a strange smile on your face before you remembered what you were supposed to be worried about. That was them. That was their soul reaching across the distance to touch yours, to test the waters, to see if you were still available to be loved. And you were. Even in your sleep, you said yes. Your dreams that week were different, weren't they? Lighter, more colorful. You dreamed of doors opening into gardens, of receiving gifts wrapped in silver paper, of being handed keys to houses you had never seen but instantly recognized as home. Those were not random firings of a resting brain. Those were previews, trailers for a film that is about to premiere in your actual life, and the critics are already calling it the love story of the decade. Have you been seeing feathers in impossible places? White ones, gray ones, resting on the windshield of a car that was locked in a garage all night? Have you been glancing at the clock at exactly 11:11, or 3:33, or some other combination that feels less like coincidence and more like a wink? Those are not glitches in the matrix. Those are breadcrumbs left by the part of your spirit team that got tired of watching you settle for almost and decided to intervene with something definite. The universe has been leaving post-it notes on the refrigerator of your reality, and you have been walking past them with your arms full of grocery bags, too busy surviving to notice you were being invited to thrive. But you noticed the song, you noticed the warmth, you noticed the way your reflection looked different in the mirror last Thursday, as if someone had adjusted the lighting inside your skin. Now, about the announcement itself. I want you to stop thinking of love as something that creeps in sideways, something that requires months of negotiation and strategic vulnerability. I know you have been hurt by people who treated your heart like a spreadsheet, who wanted to audit your feelings before committing to them, who needed 12 meetings and a risk assessment before they could say they missed you. This is not that. The announcement that is coming for you is going to land like a meteor in a quiet lake. It will be unmistakable. It will be loud. It will be the opposite of subtle, because the universe is tired of watching you translate breadcrumbs into banquets. Someone is about to tell you something that will make you put down whatever you are holding. Maybe it comes through a phone call where their voice cracks on the second sentence. Maybe it comes through a letter that arrives on a Tuesday when you were expecting nothing but junk mail. Maybe it comes in person, in a doorway, in the parking lot of the grocery store where you once cried in your car after a particularly cruel argument with someone who is now ancient history. The location doesn't matter. What matters is the content. What matters is that they are going to say the thing you have been waiting to hear, and they are going to say it without conditions, without footnotes, without the dreaded phrase, "we should take it slow," which has always been code for, "I am not brave enough to meet you where you are." Picture it for a moment, because your imagination is a rehearsal space for reality. You are standing somewhere familiar. The air smells like rain, even though the sky is clear. They are looking at you with an expression you have never seen directed at your face before, an expression that is equal parts terror and devotion, as if they are standing before the only altar they have ever truly believed in. Their hands might be shaking. Yours probably will be too. And then the words come, not perfectly, not like a movie line, but like a confession that has been burning holes in their pockets for months. I have been in love with you since before I had the language for it. Or maybe it is simpler. Maybe it is just your name, followed by a silence so full that it contains every promise ever made by anyone who ever meant it. Your knees will feel strange. Your ears will ring. The world will not stop spinning, but it will slow down just enough for you to notice the exact color of their eyes in that light. And here is the part that will make you laugh when you look back on this moment 6 months from now. You are not ready, not in the way you think readiness works. You have not completed your self-love journey. You have not healed every wound. You have not become the perfect version of yourself that your anxiety promised would be worthy of love. You are still messy. You still overthink. You still check your ex's social media at 2 in the morning sometimes. You still don't know what you want for dinner most nights. And that is exactly why this is happening now. Because the universe is not waiting for you to graduate from being human before it sends you love. The announcement is coming precisely because you are imperfect, because your imperfection is the exact shape that fits the keyhole of their heart, because they are not looking for a finished product either. They are looking for you with your morning breath and your tendency to apologize for taking up space and your beautiful, exhausting habit of remembering everyone's birthday except your own. Let me describe them to you, not physically, because physical descriptions are for dating apps, and the soul doesn't swipe right. They carry a frequency that feels like the exhale you didn't know you were holding. When they speak, you will feel something in your lower back release, something that has been clenched since childhood. They have their own scars, of course. They are not a savior. They are a partner. They have been through their own dark nights, their own betrayals, their own seasons of believing that love was a language they would never be fluent in. But they have been doing the work quietly, without posting about it, without making their healing a performance for strangers. And now they are ready, not to complete you, because you are not a puzzle missing a piece, but to complement you, to remind you that softness is not weakness, to show you that being chosen doesn't have to feel like a competition you barely won. You are going to be terrified of breaking this. That is the secret fear you haven't admitted yet. You are going to hold their hand and think, I am going to ruin this because I don't know how to be loved without earning it. You are going to wait for the other shoe to drop with the vigilance of someone who has lived through too many earthquakes. But there is no other shoe. There is only this floor, solid and real, built from two people who have finally stopped running. They are not going to ask you to be smaller. They are not going to punish you for having standards. They are not going to use your vulnerability as ammunition 6 months from now when they are angry about something unrelated. They have already decided. The decision was made in a quiet room inside their chest where no one else was allowed to vote. And the decision was you. The announcement is going to arrive wrapped in ordinary paper. That is the genius of it. You will be doing something completely mundane when it happens, folding laundry, answering an email, walking the dog. And then the world will tilt slightly, like a photograph being reframed, and you will realize that nothing is ordinary anymore because everything is about to change. They might say something like, I need to tell you something and I'm terrified, but I can't keep it inside anymore. They might say, I booked us tickets. They might say, I told my mother about you. They might simply say your name in a tone that contains an entire universe of intention, and you will hear it, really hear it, for the first time. Your body will know before your brain catches up. Your hands will get warm. Your vision will sharpen. Time will do that elastic thing it does when reality is being rewritten. And in the seconds after they speak, there will be a silence that is not empty but absolutely full, like a glass held under a running tap that has reached the brim but hasn't overflowed yet. You will feel every hair on your arms lift. You will notice the sound of your own breathing as if you are hearing it for the first time. This is the silence where two futures merge. This is the silence where the old story ends and the new one begins, without a single gunshot, without a single drum roll, just the hush that falls when truth finally lands in the body it was meant for. Do not rush to fill it. Let it be long. Let it be awkward. Let it be holy. And you will be tempted in that moment to reach for your old scripts, to say, "Are you sure?" To list your flaws like a legal disclaimer, to prepare them for disappointment before they have even had a chance to hope. Do not do it. This is your initiation into a new way of receiving. The old you had to beg for crumbs. The old you had to translate silence into affection and inconsistency into mystery. The old you accepted love that came with terms and conditions, like a software update you didn't read but agreed to anyway. That version of you served its purpose. It kept you safe when safety was the only available option. But you are not in that chapter anymore. The page has turned, the ink is still wet, and the person standing in front of you, or on the other end of that call, or behind that message, is not offering you a contract. They are offering you a collaboration, a duet, a shared expedition into a territory where both of you get to be lost and found at the same time. I want you to know that this has been in motion longer than you realize. There were signs you missed because you were looking for neon and the universe was whispering. That song that kept playing everywhere you went last month, the one with the lyrics about finally finding home, that was not an algorithm. That was a frequency match. The stranger who complimented your energy in the elevator, the one whose words landed like a benediction you didn't know you needed, they were an angel in street clothes delivering a memo from the divine. The sudden urge you had to wear that color you never wear, to take that route you never take, to stay 10 minutes later at the cafe where you usually rush out, those were not random impulses. Those were coordinates. Those were the universe nudging you into alignment with a moment that required your exact presence at your exact frequency. Your dreams have been preparing you too. Have you noticed the recurring motif of water, of crossing bridges, of receiving letters in dreams and waking up before you could read them? Those letters are being delivered now. The bridge is the one you are about to cross together. The water is the emotion you have been afraid to feel because you thought it would drown you, but it is actually going to baptize you. And the butterflies you have been feeling for no reason, the ones that have nothing to do with caffeine or anxiety, those are not nervousness. Those are your cells celebrating because they recognize the chemistry of your person before your conscious mind has caught up. Your body is a better matchmaker than any app could ever be. It knows, it has always known. Have you dreamed of dancing? Not the anxious kind of dancing where you are worried about your rhythm, but the kind where you are being spun in a kitchen at midnight by someone who is laughing because you stepped on their foot and neither of you cares. That dream is a memory from a future you have already agreed to. The music is being selected. The floor is being polished. The dress or the suit or the comfortable jeans you will wear are already hanging in a closet you haven't seen yet. Every detail is being arranged by hands you cannot see, because the divine is not just a matchmaker but an event planner, and this event has been on the calendar since before you were born. Now, let me address the part of you that is already looking for the catch. The part that is saying, "This sounds too good, too clean, too easy. There must be a hidden clause, a delayed explosion, a fine print that says, 'Congratulations, you are loved,' but here is the suffering that comes with it. I see that part of you. I honor it. It has kept you alive through seasons where hope was a luxury you couldn't afford. But I need you to understand something fundamental about the nature of this announcement. It is not a test. It is not a setup for a greater fall. It is not the universe luring you into complacency so it can pull the rug out later. The rug has already been pulled. You have already fallen. You have already learned that you can survive the impact. And now, because you have proven your resilience, because you have demonstrated that you can love without guarantee and still remain intact, you are being promoted, elevated, moved to a floor where the windows are bigger and the view includes someone who chooses to stand beside you, not because they need something from you, but because your presence makes their own existence more vivid. The congratulations that is coming is not just from them. It is from every version of you that endured the loneliness without becoming bitter. It is from the child who believed in soulmates before the world taught them to be cynical. It is from the teenager who wrote love letters they never sent, who practiced their signature with someone else's last name, who cried at weddings not because they were happy for the couple, but because they were grieving the possibility that it might never be them. It is from the adult who learned to sleep in the center of the bed, who built a life so full that no one could call it empty, who became so good at being alone that they forgot to leave room for someone else to enter. All of those versions of you are clapping right now. They are wiping tears. They are saying, finally, 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 the wait was not wasted. The love was not lost. It was just being refined, like gold, like honey, like the silence before a symphony begins. Even your ancestors are leaning forward in their seats, the ones who never got to choose their own partners, the ones who loved fiercely in war zones and famine and separation. They are watching you with a pride that transcends time. They are saying, look at her, look at him, look at them. They held on long enough. They refused to harden. They kept the channel open even when the signal was weak. And now the signal is strong. Now the broadcast is live. Now the love that was meant for them is arriving on schedule, right on time. Not a moment too soon and not a day too late. And what about the practicalities, your mind is asking? What about the distance, the timing, the logistics, the fact that neither of you has your life perfectly arranged for a merger? The universe does not care about your 5-year plan. The universe cares about your aliveness. And this person, this announcement, this unexpected collision of two souls who have been traveling parallel paths without knowing it, this is the universe saying your aliveness is the only qualification required. The rest is details. The rest is furniture arrangement. The rest is choosing a restaurant for your third date and arguing playfully about whether to get the window seat. The rest is learning how they take their coffee and memorizing the way they laugh when they are truly delighted versus when they are being polite. The rest is the glorious, mundane, extraordinary work of building a shared language. And you are going to be so good at it, Virgo, because you have been studying love your whole life. You have been taking notes. You have been preparing for a test that is finally being administered, and you are going to ace it, not because you are perfect, but because you are present. I want to tell you about the moment after the announcement, the moment that no one talks about because it is too quiet to be cinematic. It is the moment when you hang up the phone or close the door or finish reading the message for the third time to make sure you didn't hallucinate it. It is the moment when you are alone again, but alone differently. The silence in your apartment will sound different. The light will look different. You will walk to your kitchen and pour a glass of water, and you will realize that your hand is not shaking, that your chest is not tight, that the low-grade hum of anxiety that has been your constant companion for years has suddenly gone quiet, not because your problems are solved, but because you are no longer facing them by yourself. That is the miracle. Not the grand gesture, not the declaration, not the ring or the ticket or the plan. The miracle is the sudden, shocking realization that you have been seen, chosen, claimed, and that the claiming does not feel like a cage, but like a key turning in a lock that has been rusted shut for decades. You will sleep differently tonight. Even before the announcement arrives, something in you already knows. Your dreams will be softer, your jaw will unclench. You might find yourself humming while you cook, a song you haven't thought about in years, a song that was playing during a summer when you still believed in easy happiness. That belief is returning, not in the naive form you wore as a child, but in a weathered, tested, bulletproof form that says, I have seen the worst that love can do, and I am still willing to risk the best. That is the badge you are wearing now. That is the energy that is drawing this person toward you, like a compass needle finding north after years of spinning in confusion. So when it happens, when the words land, when the congratulations becomes real and not just a concept I am whispering into your ear through a screen, I want you to do something for me. I want you to receive it without deflection. Do not say, oh, stop, or you don't mean that, or, but what about all my issues? Do not perform humility at the expense of your own joy. Do not dim your light because you are afraid it will blind someone who is actually desperate for your radiance. Simply say, thank you. Let it in. Let it fill the spaces that have been hollowed out by waiting. Let it warm the rooms that have been drafty since the last person left without closing the door properly. Let it be the beginning of a new season, one where love is not something you earn through suffering, but something you accept through grace. And if you are wondering whether this is really for you, whether you are the one I am talking to, whether your specific circumstances allow for this kind of magic, let me be very clear. I am not speaking to the person you pretend to be on social media. I am not speaking to the curated version of you that has all the answers and the color-coded planner and the 5-step skincare routine. I am speaking to the you that cried in the car last month after a hard day and didn't tell anyone because you didn't want to be a burden. I am speaking to the you that still sleeps with a stuffed animal or a childhood blanket when no one is looking. I am speaking to the you that believes underneath all the competence and the capability that maybe love is for other people, prettier people, easier people, people who didn't have to learn independence as a survival skill. That you, the hidden you, the tender you, the one who is about to be so surprised by kindness that it will take your breath away and then give it back as something sweeter. The announcement is sealed. The messenger is en route. The stage is set in a location that looks like your everyday life but is about to become sacred ground. You do not need to do anything except be there. Be present. Be brave enough to hope out loud, even if only in the privacy of your own heart, because hope is not foolishness, beloved. Hope is the only technology that has ever built a bridge from one lonely island to another, and the bridge is complete. The toll has been paid by every night you spent believing you were worthy, even when no one was there to witness it. Walk across. The other side is not just another person, it is another version of you, the one who gets to be soft, the one who gets to be chosen, the one who finally gets to stop proving and start being. Congratulations are in order. Not for what you have accomplished, though your accomplishments are many. Not for what you have survived, though your survival is heroic. Congratulations for being exactly who you are in this exact moment, with your messy hair and your unanswered emails and your heart that is somehow still open despite everything. That is the achievement. That is the qualification. That is the reason the envelope has your name on it, written in ink that glows with the particular light of a love that has been looking for you as long as you have been looking for it. Open it. The confetti is already in the air. The band is already playing your song. The only thing left to do is dance.